Welcome to Awaken and Achieve, the space where your growth story begins. Here, we don't just motivate, we wake you up to your potential. Through powerful habits, mindset shifts, and purposeful action, you'll learn how to break limits and build the life you deserve. It's time to stop waiting. Awaken your mind. Achieve your mission. Let's rise together. You think you are just tired. Or just a little behind. But what if I told you it's actually your habits, silent, daily choices that are quietly destroying your focus, confidence, and future? Here are 7 habits that look harmless on the outside, but are secretly holding you back. Habit 1. Procrastination, the silent killer of potential. Procrastination is the act of putting off tasks you know are important in favor of doing something easier, more comfortable, or more immediately pleasurable. You tell yourself, I'll do it later. But later becomes tomorrow, then next week, and eventually never. Why it's so destructive? Builds mental pressure. The more you delay, the heavier the task feels. Kills opportunities, missed deadlines, unsubmitted applications, or ideas never executed mean chances lost forever. Erodes self-confidence. You begin to doubt your discipline, which weakens your trust in yourself. Causes chronic stress. Even during relaxation, your brain nags at you about what's undone. You don't just delay a task, you delay your growth. The psychology behind it. Fear of failure. You delay to avoid the possibility of doing it wrong. Perfectionism. You tell yourself you'll start when the timing is perfect, but it never is. Lack of structure. Without clear goals or deadlines, your brain chooses comfort over challenge. Dopamine hijack. Social media, food, and entertainment give instant pleasure, work doesn't. Electric light bulb. Real-life example. Imagine a student delaying their final project. They binge-watch shows to avoid the stress of starting. Days pass. The pressure builds. They finally rush the project last minute, perform poorly, and then blame themselves. This cycle repeats semester after semester. How to break it? Break it down. Don't try to write a book. Just start by writing one paragraph. Use the 5-minute rule. Tell yourself to work on the task for just 5 minutes. Getting started is often the hardest part. Set visible deadlines. Deadlines aren't scary, they're structure. Track progress. Use a habit tracker, calendar, or to-do list. Your brain loves visual wins. Reward effort, not outcome. Celebrate showing up, even if the result isn't perfect yet. Replace the habit with do it now, even if it's messy. Habit 2. Negative self-talk and perfectionism, the inner bully that never sleeps. Negative self-talk is the habit of criticizing yourself internally, calling yourself lazy, not good enough, a failure, often without realizing it. Perfectionism, on the other hand, is the unrealistic demand that everything you do must be flawless or it's worthless. Together, they form a toxic combo that destroys self-esteem and stalls progress. Why it's so dangerous? Destroys confidence. You begin to believe the inner voice that says, you'll mess this up anyway. Prevents action. You don't start because you fear it won't be perfect. Feeds procrastination. If I can't do it right, why do it at all? Leads to burnout. You push yourself too hard, then collapse in guilt and exhaustion. Blocks growth. You stop trying new things out of fear of judgment or failure. You are not your thoughts. But repeat a lie long enough, and you'll start to live it. Where it comes from? Early criticism or unrealistic standards, from school, family, society. Comparison culture. Seeing perfect lives online creates invisible pressure. Fear of rejection, perfection feels like a shield to avoid being judged. Low self-worth, feeling you need to earn value by being flawless. Real-life example. A talented writer has dozens of stories in their head but never publishes a single one. Why? They keep telling themselves, "It's not good enough. People will think it's stupid." So nothing gets written. The stories and the writer's potential stay locked away. How to break it? Name the voice, catch your inner critic. Give it a name like the judge or the perfectionist. Calling it out separates you from it. Ask, would I say this to a friend? Often, we speak to ourselves in ways we'd never speak to others. Set good enough standards. Aim for 80% done, not 100% perfect. Celebrate progress. Track small wins. Every step counts. Practice self-compassion. When you fail, say, "It's okay. I'm learning." Replace the habit with progress over perfection. I'm allowed to be a work in progress. Habit 3. Constant comparison and people-pleasing, the fastest way to lose yourself. Constant comparison is measuring your worth by someone else's achievements, lifestyle, looks, or timeline. People-pleasing is the need to gain approval by always saying yes, avoiding conflict, and putting others' needs above your own even when it hurts you. At first, it feels like humility or kindness. But over time, it quietly steals your identity. Why it's so harmful? Breeds insecurity. You start to feel like you are always behind or never enough. Destroys authenticity. You shape your life around others' expectations, not your truth. Leads to burnout. Pleasing everyone means neglecting yourself. Fuels anxiety. You are constantly worried about what people think. Kills ambition. Instead of chasing your vision, you chase validation. If you live for their applause, you'll die by their silence. The root causes. Social media highlights everyone's best 5% and hides the struggle. Upbringing may have rewarded being agreeable, obedient, or nice. Fear of rejection. We seek connection by molding ourselves into what others want. Lack of self-worth. Believing you have to earn love or acceptance. Real-life example. A young professional sees her peers posting promotions and luxury vacations online. She feels like a failure, even though she's been growing steadily in her own field. To keep up, she takes on more work, says yes to every request, and burns herself out trying to match a lifestyle that isn't even real. How to break it? Limit comparison triggers. Reduce time on social media or mute accounts that make you feel less than. Ask, who am I trying to impress and why? Set boundaries. Saying no is self-respect, not selfishness. List your values. Write down what you truly want, not what's trendy or expected. Practice solitude. Time alone helps you reconnect with your authentic self. Replace the habit with my pace, my path. I don't need to be everything to everyone. I just need to be me. Habit 4. Remaining in your comfort zone, the safe place that slowly shrinks your life. The comfort zone is that psychological space where you feel safe, in control, and unchallenged. It's predictable, familiar, painless. But here's the problem, nothing new grows there. Comfort is a beautiful place, but nothing ever blossoms there. Why it's so dangerous? Stunts personal growth. No struggle means no strength. Muscles, mental or physical, grow through resistance. Breeds boredom and regret. Life becomes repetitive, and deep down, you know you are capable of more. Strengthens fear. The longer you avoid discomfort, the scarier it becomes. Prevents opportunities. Success requires doing things that feel awkward, uncertain, or even scary. Leads to quiet dissatisfaction. You may be fine, but not fulfilled. Comfort kills more dreams than failure ever will. Why we stay there? Fear of failure or embarrassment. Fear of judgment. What will people think if I try and fail? Past trauma or conditioning, where safety became the top priority. Short-term pleasure wins. Our brains are wired to avoid discomfort, even if it costs long-term rewards. Real-life example. Someone hates public speaking but dreams of becoming a leader. Instead of joining a speaking group or practicing, they avoid every chance to speak. Years pass. The fear grows stronger. Their leadership potential remains untapped, not because they weren't capable, but because they stayed comfortable. How to break it? Start tiny. Growth doesn't require a leap, just a step. Speak up once. Try something small but unfamiliar. Track discomfort. Write down one thing you did each week that made you nervous. Celebrate it. Reframe fear. Fear is equal to proof that you are expanding. Let it be a signal of growth, not danger. Seek stretch, not stress. You don't need to overwhelm yourself, just stretch beyond what's easy. Surround yourself with challengers, people who push you forward, not keep you the same. Replace the habit with. Growth begins where comfort ends. If it feels uncomfortable, it probably means I'm evolving. Every success story starts with someone choosing to be uncomfortable, not once, but consistently. Comfort is tempting. But greatness lives just outside of it. Habit 5. Neglecting your health and self-care, the slow decline you don't notice until it's too late. Neglecting your health isn't always dramatic. It's skipping meals, avoiding sleep, ignoring stress, never exercising, and telling yourself, I'll take care of myself later. But later never comes. Self-care isn't selfish. It's survival. Why it's so dangerous? It creeps in silently. You don't feel it on day one. But over time, poor habits compound negatively. Kills mental sharpness, junk food, poor sleep, and no movement dull your brain and focus. Weakens emotional resilience. A tired, overworked, undernourished body struggles with stress and anxiety. Causes burnout. When you always give but never recharge, the crash is inevitable. Shortens your future. What you ignore in your 20s or 30s often returns as disease or dysfunction in your 40s and 50s. You can't pour from an empty cup, no matter how noble your intentions. Why we ignore it? Productivity obsession. We glorify hustle and grind, forgetting that rest is productive too. Guilt. Some feel they don't deserve to rest unless they've earned it. Disconnection. Many live disconnected from their bodies, ignoring signals of fatigue, hunger, and stress. Short-term comfort. It's easier to scroll or snack than to stretch, sleep, or meditate. Real-life example. A young entrepreneur skips meals, pulls all-nighters, and brags about 100-hour work weeks. They grow fast, but within a year, they crash mentally and physically. Suddenly, the thing they built becomes a burden because they neglected the one system powering it all, their body and mind. How to break it? Start with basics. Sleep 7 to 8 hours. Drink water. Move your body daily. Eat real food. Breathe deeply. Make it non-negotiable. Your well-being is not optional. Build routines around it, not around work alone. Stack habits. Pair healthy actions with daily tasks. Example, stretch while watching videos, walk while on calls. Use tech to help. Set reminders for movement, hydration, or meditation. Respect rest. Real productivity comes from cycles, not non-stop output. Replace the habit with, health is my foundation, not my reward. I protect my energy because my future depends on it. Habit 6. Overspending time on distractions, the theft of your focus, dreams, and days. Spending hours scrolling social media, binge-watching shows, checking notifications every few minutes, constantly jumping from one thing to another. It feels like relaxation, but it's actually mental clutter stealing your time, attention, and long-term potential. You are not too busy, you are too distracted. Why it's so destructive? Kills deep focus. Constant stimulation trains your brain to avoid hard, meaningful tasks. Steals time invisibly. You don't realize hours have vanished until they're gone. Fuels anxiety and brain fog. Rapid switching between apps, messages, and media floods your mind with noise. Blocks creativity. True ideas and insight require boredom and stillness, not a constant dopamine drip. Rewires your brain. You become addicted to instant gratification, making it harder to commit to long-term goals. If you don't control your attention, someone else will. Why we fall into it? Dopamine addiction. Every like, message, or video gives a quick hit of pleasure, and we crave more. Escapism. It's easier to scroll than to face anxiety, hard tasks, or uncomfortable emotions. Lack of clarity. Without clear goals or priorities, your brain defaults to what's easy instead of what's important. Cultural normalization. Society encourages constant connection, even if it fragments us. Real-life example. A student plans to study for an hour, but first checks Instagram. Then YouTube. Then WhatsApp. Suddenly, it's midnight. They're overwhelmed, rushed, and frustrated. This happens every night, and their dream of mastering the subject slowly dies, not because they're lazy, but because they're distracted. How to break it? Set phone-free zones during deep work, meals, and the first hour of your morning. Use the distraction journal method. Every time you feel the urge to check your phone, write it down instead and watch your awareness grow. Schedule distractions. Allow 30 to 45 minutes a day to scroll guilt-free, but don't let it bleed into your work hours. Use tech wisely. Block distracting apps. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Track screen time. Replace with intention. Every time you reduce distraction, replace it with something energizing: walking, journaling, reading, building. Replace the habit with, my time is my power, I don't give it away cheaply. I choose attention over addiction. Habit 7. Avoiding help, ignoring action, and shifting blame, the triple threat that keeps you stuck. This habit hides behind 3 masks. Avoiding help, believing you have to do everything alone, even when you are overwhelmed. Ignoring action, knowing what needs to be done, but endlessly postponing it. Shifting blame, pointing fingers at others, circumstances, or bad luck instead of owning your choices. It's the silent surrender of responsibility and the slow death of progress. Why it's so destructive? Keeps you powerless. You give up control over your own life when you blame or freeze. Prevents learning. If it's always someone else's fault, you never grow from your mistakes. Delays progress. Refusing to ask for help or take action means your goals stay forever in the someday folder. Breeds resentment and regret. Over time, you start resenting others and yourself. You can't change what you refuse to take responsibility for. Why it happens? Fear of vulnerability. Asking for help feels like weakness when it's actually strength. Fear of failure. Taking action means risking imperfection or rejection. Ego protection. Blaming others shields your ego from discomfort, but it also shields you from growth. Learned helplessness. Past experiences may have taught you to expect failure, so you give up before you begin. Real-life example. Someone dreams of starting a business but says, "I don't have time. The market's too saturated. Nobody supports me." Instead of asking for mentorship, learning skills, or starting small, they wait. Years pass. Nothing changes. Not because they couldn't, but because they didn't. How to break it? Start small but start. Take one action, however imperfect. Clarity comes through action, not before it. Ask for help early, whether it's feedback, coaching, or emotional support. Strong people ask, weak ones pretend. Use the mirror, not the finger, at every setback. Ask, what was my role in this? What can I do differently next time? Forgive the past, own the present. Don't let past pain become today's excuse. Track your own patterns. If you keep saying, "It's not my fault," pause and reflect. Replace the habit with, "It's on me," and that's the good news. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to show up. You are the only person who can build your life. That means you have the power, but also the responsibility. No more waiting. No more blaming. No more hiding. These 7 habits may be quiet, but their damage is loud. They don't destroy you overnight. They chip away at your potential, your peace, and your power. But once you see them, you can change them. Step by step. One choice at a time. If this video woke something up in you, don't let it fade. Hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Remember, every day is a chance to awaken your mind and achieve your mission. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep growing, keep rising. This is Awaken and Achieve.